Welcome to the Build Your A Team podcast, where veteran founders and executives break down how they build high performing teams and what drives their success. Is it disciplined strategy, sharp instinct, or just being at the right place at the right time? In our operator series, we go even deeper with the men and women in the arena, the real operators executing the mission every day, unpacking how they lead teams, drive performance, and deliver results when it counts. Today's guest is Nathan Sable. He's a market area president of Apex Service Partners, overseeing multiple service brands across Central and Southern Virginia. He joined Apex in October of 2022 and runs their HVAC branches again for that region. Nathan's leadership spans public and private and defense sectors, from being a U.S. Navy intel specialist to cyber command to the DIA and then to Deloitte and Gen Ed. And throughout that, Nate, I guess we're going to talk a little bit about your commercial fishing experience, which is
Yeah.
very fascinating, and even your mold restoration business
Yeah.
as we go through.
Yeah.
Um, Nathan holds a master's in business analytics from UVA and a bachelor's from George Washington. And he's been recognized for his performance. Their team has been recognized from performance, where they won last year the Team Player Award from Apex Service Partners. And
Yes.
they were the third best performing market in Apex last year as well. So congratulations, Nate. I keep going back from Nate and Nathan. Do you mind, or which one do you rather?
Nathan's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and glad to be on here and talk to you, Freddie. It's great.
Yeah. So we've worked together, you know, back in 2022,
Yep.
Nathan,
Yep.
and we were like, "Hey, is this something you really want to get into, Apex? This is a different world.
Yeah.
This is private equity." And we were like, "Hey, is this do you feel confident in your background? Are you qualified for this?" And you were like, "Hell yeah." And this is why. And Apex loved a lot of your experiences. So could you just like tell us about that journey from recollection?
Yeah. I mean, no one's qualified. Like, you don't know what you're getting into until you get into the business. I mean, you're, yeah, there's never enough training or, experience you can get to take on a business like this because it's just so different. But yeah, I mean, we were talking, and I wanted a challenge. I wanted something that was something I could build. And I'd done a lot of things in my career. I'd done consulting. I'd worked for the government, and I just wanted to, I was at the place in my life where I was like, I just want to run something. I want to own something. I want to build something. It could be basket weaving. It doesn't really matter. Like, I just wanted to do that. And, um, we got hooked up, and I've joined this business, and I've been here for almost 4 years now. And yeah, nothing could prepare me for the work, like, the second guessing, the thinking, like how am I going to run this business? How am I going to do it differently? And people telling you to do it one way, other people telling you to do it another way, and everybody has their opinions, and you just got to make a decision. And you've got to go with that decision and, execute on it. That's the biggest thing in this business is everybody's got good ideas. Everybody's got a certain way of doing it. You just got to execute on it, on something. And
Right.
nothing prepares you for that except for a drive to want to do it and want to excel and make mistakes and be able to pick yourself back up and fix those mistakes and continue to go forward every day. That's what drives this business. It's not anything special. I'm not special. I'm not smarter than anybody else. Like, I just come in every day and I work hard, and that's the key of this business at the end of the day. So
I
Yeah.
love that you highlight that because I feel like that's something we as recruiters are always having to zero in on, which is a personality trait. And rather, it's
yeah,
not something you can find on LinkedIn. It's not something we're finding on your resume. it's just like a slice of someone's personality. And we find that it's often with military folks that can just come in, get it done, whatever it is, and take on the day as a new challenge every day. And so it sounds like that's what you're putting into work every day too. But I would love to know, do you have, it's like story time. Can you give us a little
Okay.
story from your military career and time, maybe in the Navy, that shaped how you came into this job and how you lead your people?
Um, I mean, I think anybody in the military, like especially coming in from like the GWAT era, right? Like you know, most people in that 2002 to 2015, 2019, like that time frame, they just deployed a lot. And I didn't do any special deployments. Like I didn't do anything super cool. Um, the Navy's a lot different than the Army or the Marine Corps. Like the Navy, like you're on a ship and it's super boring and it's very institutionalized. It feels like a prison system almost. That's how I like tell people. It feels like you're in a prison, and it's just day in day out. You're doing you just build a routine and like you learn that routine and you like it's hard. You work long hours and you just have to put the grind in. And it's year after year after year you're deployed and guys that come from that background just of doing these like long deployments over and over again, you just get accustomed to that and you're like, I'm used to putting that work in, right? Like, and I mean, that's what prepared me for this job in a lot of ways is being able to put the work in. Um, and I think, I mean, the biggest thing that shaped me, especially from the Navy, like personally, like I joined the Navy when I was very young. I joined when I was 17. Went straight in. The Navy's really good at recruiting for like two things. It's either like Top Gun pilots or it's like Navy SEALs. And I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. Like that was my dream. That's what I wanted to do. Um, I tried out. I went into it. I had just been like on 3 deployments. I literally got off the ship and went to Buds and failed miserably at it. So didn't make it. Completely washed out. And then I guess my detailer, I guess she had it in for me, and she sent me back to that same ship and said, "You're going to go back out on that ship again, deployed again." Got the bug to go back. Went my second time, and it happened where I didn't make it again. I failed the second time, and I think I was like, I did it. What happened was I was like trying to help some guys, and I got in trouble for helping them. Pretty much, I was trying to cover for them, and washed out my second time. But I tell that story because I learned what failure really means. Like failing at something that you really want, like you really want to do, you train for, you work at, you go through the pain of getting into it, and you fail at it. And failure is like not a lot of like you meet people and you're like you've never failed in their life. Like they've done everything perfectly. And I think failure is the biggest thing of like, you could fail at something, you've failed at it before. How am I not going to fail this time? Like, how am I not going to fail at something? And being able to overcome that and build a plan that doesn't happen and not be afraid of it, but just know that you need to create a plan to make sure that doesn't happen. And you're going to put whatever work it is to not fail is important with anything, with business, with life, with everything. So I would say those are the two things that shaped me really from the military, is learning to work hard and learning that failure can happen and how to avoid it. So
Yeah, the I think just the caveat on the failure piece, it's not just failing, right? But it's the overcoming of failure,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's that
exactly.
second
Yeah.
piece.
You fail
And not
once, you
quitting.
try again, and you keep trying until you know you can overcome it, right? So,
Yeah, not quitting.
yeah.
So before I know Charles has a bunch of questions, but just for our audience and our listeners, how would you describe the mission you're on today?
I mean, the mission overall is to build the best business, like build the best HVAC, plumbing, electrical business in the country. Like that's the mission. But like that's at the micro level, like it's really about the people, right? Like we're here to build a business. We're here to build the best business. But at the end of the day, it's like it's the people that you work with that you're working for. So I come into work every day, and I think, I have a team of people like across the state, and I think about what am I doing for them today? Like, how am I building their lives? And I think a lot of it of like, how can people want to make more money? Like, how can I today make sure the people here are making more money than they did yesterday? Or how are they are they growing in their career? Like, how am I doing that? And that's really at the end of the day, the focus on any business, whatever you're doing. Like, you could be selling whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you're building the people and taking care of the people and bringing the right people in, that's the mission of the business. And making sure that their lives are moving forward, that they're making more money, that their careers are being satisfied. That's the mission of a leader at the end of the day, is taking care of the people and building a strong team that can win the day. That's the mission.
I concur, and I think though that is not, it's not commonplace, in corporate leaders today. It's a lot more common in military trained folks. But there was a point when I started MilSpec, we were like, hey, do we want to just go after special ops guys, right? The guys who have shown that they've done it. But as we've been, the answer was no, because there are guys like you who may have failed the
Yeah.
buds selection.
Yeah.
There are guys like, formerly we talked about Tasha. Tasha was a drill sergeant. She wasn't even a special ops person.
Yeah.
But she's crushing it. It's because of the discipline you've learned from just serving, right? And then
Sure. Yeah.
translating that. So I think, and you, both of you guys, and you, especially Nathan, you're showcasing that. So congratulations to you and for Apex for recognizing that early on and snagging you.
Oh, that's kind of
And
you.
piggyback on that, I think you kind of were getting into this a little bit, but can you just tell a little bit about what's the best part of walking into FH Fur, and like what makes your day? What keeps you going? Because I mean, we all kind of know we have to work for the people and keep people motivated, but then there's numbers and there's deadlines and there's stuff you have to meet. So what kind of keeps you going?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, with the Apex Service Partners as a whole, like there's a lot of studs. There's a lot of really high performing operators. We have a Heisman Trophy winner down in Oklahoma. We've got like all these like Ranger Regiment guys. We got SF. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, a lot of guys with great degrees, like great business degree. Like, there's a lot of studs in this organization, and a lot of it is like competing against them, right? Like, they've done great things in their careers, and it's like I want to compete with them, and I want to beat them, like, in a competitive way. Like, I want them to win too, but at the end of the day, I want to beat them. Like, I want to win. Like, you know, and I want to prove that I can, right? So that drives me. Like, I want to win, and I want to be the best. So that drives me. I mean, and then there's other things like coming into this industry from outside of industry. Like, you have a lot of people that have done things a certain way for a long time. And we partner with these businesses, and they've been doing HVAC, plumbing, electrical their way for a long, long time. And I come in and, we change the businesses in some way. Like, we try to make them better. We try to improve them. We try to make them more efficient. We try to, bring new talent in. And a lot of people don't like that. Like, they want to keep doing it their way. And, there's been times where I've had people say, you're going to fail. You're not going to, this business isn't going to work. What you're doing is not going to work. You can't do that here. Not in Richmond, Virginia, not in Lynchburg, not in Charlottesville. It doesn't work here. And I've said, well, we're going to do it. We're going to try it, and we're going to make every effort to do it, and it works. But I've had people try to root against us, like they want the business to fail or whatever. They want their way to win, and that drives me. Like I'm not going to fail, and I'm not going to let somebody tell me that it can't be done when I know it can be done. So, but yeah, I mean, the competitiveness. Seeing other people successful, I want to do that too, and I want to win, and I don't want people to say I can't. So, but like I said originally, like at the end of the day, I want to see my people taken care of. Like I want to see them succeed and do great things, right? That's really the ultimate thing that I want to see here in this business. So,
Yeah, that's definitely the most rewarding part. I love something you've highlighted though. That's a total. I mean, it's something that Apex has capitalized on, and possibly inadvertently at first, which is that the parallels with the military, this healthy competition, kind of feeding off of like a person's ego and drive to like, succeed and compare themselves to other people and kind of like come to the bar um, and try to win. I just
yeah,
love that they have capitalized on that. And then also, there's a classic parallel with what you're saying. When you've come into new businesses, you've had to change the status quo. There's a little bit of reticence for change from these people. I mean, is that not a military analogy as well? I think about a young lieutenant coming into a
right,
platoon, trying to
right,
get
yeah,
approval from a
yeah,
crusty NCO
yeah,
who's like, "Ma'am, sir, we've done it this way forever," you know,
yeah,
and you're like, "Okay, well, we got to start using Excel, buddy," or whatever it
yeah,
is, right?
right,
So,
yeah.
I mean, there's just so many great parallels, and gosh, the benefits and the growth that has happened as a result of some of those models being replicated in the civilian sector.
Yeah,
It's so cool. I mean, it's just
yeah.
so
I think a lot of people, especially from the military, they want to be in merit-driven organizations, right? Like, and I think in a lot of places in like corporate America, like those things don't exist like they did in the military, or yeah, they just don't exist. So a lot of people go in the corporate world and say like, hey, I want to do something merit-based, and they don't see that. So I think how Apex does it. A lot of organizations do it when I mean, this is the most merit-based organization I've ever worked for, and I think that's great. Like, we want to see that, and people want to see that. They want to work for an organization like that. So,
hmm
So, so there's partially a reason. I don't really think this deep when I get prepared, but there's a reason why I wore a plaid shirt today.
okay.
It's in tribute to your Nathan, your blue collar kind of background, which is kind of odd based on your Navy, cyber, DIA, top four Deloitte consulting, and then you were a consultant for Gen Edge as well, and then you come into this blue collar industry, right?
Right.
And then what Apex really liked and they really inquired about was your was it 6 months on a commercial fishing boat in Alaska?
About 8 months. Yeah.
Eight
Yeah.
months there, they were
Yeah.
really enjoyed that factor. So can you walk us through tell us a little bit about how that fit into your career path working in a fishing commercial fishing boat?
Yeah. I mean, when I got out of the Navy, I mean, you know, your Navy, your military experience, like all your friends are there. That's where your identity is from, and I was trying to really figure out what I wanted to do in life. And I mean, I worked some dead end jobs in like a mold restoration company, which was an awful, awful job, but it's given me like appreciation for the work we do here. But yeah, I mean, I had an opportunity, and I knew a guy in Alaska. And he's like, "Come on up, take a one-way trip up here and see what it's all about." And so I got on a plane and flew up to Alaska, Ketchikan, Alaska, and jumped on the boat. And it was an incredible experience. I almost stayed. And yeah, it was the hardest work I've ever done. I mean, in Alaska, like especially in the summer, it's sunlight all the time. So what do people do? They just work longer hours. So you're like working 22 hours a day, and you're not that tired because you get it's sunny, so it's not that bad. But it's just a world where you're on your own. It's maybe like two other guys on the boat, and that's it. You don't have anybody else supporting you. Like if something goes wrong, you better figure it out because nobody else is coming to help you. So yeah, and it's just a world where it's completely free. There's no worries. You don't have email, you don't have cell phone. You're just out there on the sea, and you're catching fish, and you're figuring problems out, and you're working really hard. So it was a dream job. I loved it. It shaped how I see the world, how I work. But yeah, it was an experience that was really changed my life. So.
I see a theme with you, which is just revolves around this like desire to be tested. You want to be tested at buds. You want to be tested
Yeah.
on this boat, and then now you're getting another ultimate test, which is growing a business. How do you kind of provide that type of testing for your current, employees and some of those young guys that are just starting out?
Everybody's different. Like, I don't expect everyone to, come with that same frame of mind. Like, everybody's different. Now, I seek people with that drive. Like, I think the business is built on the people. So, to build a winning team and a good team, it's really about finding the people with those characteristics. But not everybody has those characteristics. But they do have characteristics that are important. And it's more important to find people too that are like honest and trustworthy and loyal. Like those are important things too. But you have to find people. You have to find what's right for that person. Like put them in the position that's right for them. Yes, it's a prerequisite to have a work ethic and work hard. But you have to build a culture that drives that and enhances people to want to have that. So like you have to build compensation packages around that. You have to build motivation around that. Like there has to be, it's not going to be natural for everybody. And as a leader, you have to kind of find the right place for people, and you got to build that culture, and you got to build the mechanisms to get that behavior out of people.
And so easy to say and so much harder to do, yet you've
It
done it
is.
in a lot of ways. And I know you would humbly say that you're still churning at it, but
Yeah.
um,
So just on that note, if I can jump in as well, in the Army we call it TPPs, like tactics, techniques, and
hmm
procedures. Do you have specific ones that you've taken from your prior experience, whether in the military, DIA, or cyber, or wherever, that you're like, hey, these things have really helped you at where you are now?
Yeah. A lot of it, I guess, a lot of it comes from from the Intel world, like my Intel background. And I don't want to make this seem like spycraft or anything like that, but I think it's important, really, for anybody at the top, leaders and in general, to get honest information, get the truth. Like that's imperative. You're gonna have a lot of people feeding you information that they want you to hear. That is, it might have ulterior motives to it, right? Like, I'm doing a good job, like make it seem like they're doing a better job than they really are doing, or something that might be going wrong, like not going right in the business, and people are trying to say that it is going right. And the leader is kind of like not really akin to what's actually going on in the business. Because it's a big business, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of people, and it's super important for the leader to know what's going on. So, I mean, in the Intel world, like you want to have like good sources, right? You want to have people feeding you good information with like good placement, good access, and that's vetted information that you can vet that is true. So I take a lot from that, like, getting information from the right sources. So it might be like going down like 3 levels, like to get that information. So instead of going, to my warehouse manager, it might be going to the warehouse associate, and not trying to like discredit that manager, but trying to get good information from all aspects of the business, and going down to the lowest level, you can get that information better. And also just having people like know like what's going outside my walls is important. Like, do I talk to people at supply houses, or do I talk to people outside of the business? Or talk to customers? Like, what information are people saying that can help me run the business better and really get to the truth of what's happening? I just think that's important. You can have as much data as you want. I think data is incredibly important, but just knowing what's going on and what people are saying at the lowest levels is extremely, extremely valuable. So I would say I'd get that from like Intel World. Also, just having good courses of action, good COAs, right? Like knowing, like, if I'm going to go in this direction, I'm going to go in this plan, and it fails or it falls apart, do I have a backup plan to that? Or do I have an alternative plan that I can pivot really quickly? If I put this person in this position and it doesn't go according to plan, do I have a backup plan for that? And just thinking through that all the time of what plans do I have, what backup plans, how can I pivot really quickly if something goes wrong? Because things always go wrong, right? Like in the military, like we would be out on a ship, right? And a screw would break and we would have to go into port for 3 months and the whole plan was over, right? Like, do I have a plan for not every little thing, but the smallest details might go wrong, and do I have a backup plan for that? And I think that's just super valuable. And if you're thinking through that long term, you're gonna have less problems, and you're really gonna know what's going on in your business well. So.
I love that too, and I think something you get from that method that you're using, which you're kind of looking at like gathering intel, but what you're also getting out of it is that person at the lowest level feels heard,
You're
understood.
building relationships. Yeah, you're also building
They're like,
relationships.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh, like
yeah,
Nathan
yeah,
came down and was
yeah,
asking me about my widgets or whatever,
yeah,
and I can finally just tell him that they're all broken, or
yeah.
and
Right.
I mean, it could in some cases feel like a little like you're skipping the chain, but the power that that person now feels from getting just to say like I need help or this isn't working,
Yeah,
it's huge. I mean,
yeah.
and
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 it's not
that's what builds like that followership that every organization wants.
it's not trying to get people in trouble. It's just trying to understand what
No,
the business is doing, and it's trying to, it is. It's building. It's also building relationships with people at every level. Like that's important. You can't stay stagnant and just have 4 or 5 people you talk to and you have
right.
relationships with. You
Or
have
just
to
be
know.
isolated.
You have to know everybody's name in the company. Like you have to know everybody's name. You have to know if they've got children. You have to know what their goals are, what their background is. Like you can't just insulate yourself.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Well, that brings us to another great question. And I'd just love to know, how do you, in a world where there is an abundance of information and learning and all kinds of ways to make ourselves better, what do you personally take part in to kind of like keep yourself sharp and keeping developed as a leader? And you may say like, hey, I got 3 kids and I'm tired as hell, so I'm getting a lot of sleep. But or I'm trying to get sleep on every third day. But
Yeah, I don't have a ton of spare time, but I do. I mean, I like to read. I do a lot of audiobooks. I do a fair amount of podcasts. I think fiction is good. Like fiction tells you how people act and how people think a little bit. Like people can act really rational, but they can also act really irrational. And understanding that is important. Like how people think, what you might say to somebody, how that might be taken, is important. And I think it gives you like some self awareness, and novels can do that. I like history. Like I'm really into Caesar right now, so I don't read a lot of like modern modern leadership stuff or anything like that. But I think there's a lot of value on, history and like what history teaches us. I'm really into Caesar right now, and Caesar's, he's a fascinating guy where he can get his army to wake up in the middle of the night and march 20 miles and then build a bridge the next day. And like, how does he do that? Like, how did he get his army to do that? And he just knew his people. Like, he had the right people. He was able to build that following. People were loyal to him. They would do whatever he said, within reason. But he just understood people so well that he had this following that they would do anything for the guy. And how do you build that following? Everybody's had that leader in their life. Like, they see that guy and they're like, I'd follow him. It doesn't matter what he says. Like, he or she is a great leader. And Caesar had that, and that's something I want to aspire to and be like. I'll never be like that, but how do you get people to do that? Well, you lead by example. You people follow you, and they know you, and they know that what you're going to do, it's the best thing, and you have the best intentions for that person.
That's good. Isn't that the best thing that, leadership? We don't need any more leadership books. I mean, some of the basic principles of leadership are timeless.
Yeah. Well, one final thing from my end, and we are going a little bit over, but it's still a fascinating conversation, Nathan. So, looking back at your Intel days, right? Even at the DIA, and you talked spycraft a little bit, you talked access and placement a little bit, but for leaders running businesses or just leaders now, we need to be very intentional about active listening.
Mm-hmm.
Active listening to your people, to your customers. So what kind of tip would you share that you've learned about active listening, or just understanding the subject or understanding the other person that you practice?
That's a good question. I think, like, people want to be heard, right? Like, they want to be heard, and they want to know what struggles they have at home, at work, what systems and processes might not be working for them, what challenges they have, and they want to be heard. They want to know that you're doing something about it, like you have a plan to. That's what they want you to see a plan is being built, and that you're going to do it. But they also just want to, be heard. Sometimes they want to vent, and that's okay. Like, I think that if they know that you're available, you will drop everything at a hat and listen to them. That's what really matters at the end of the day. Like, if you can be available, you can be open for your people, and if they can talk and tell you something and you're listening to them, and you're going to do something about it, like, that's what matters at the end of the day. So,
yeah, agreed.
Taking action based on what you get to hear. Yeah.
Or non-action. Sometimes it's a non-action, but just want to be heard. Yeah.
Yeah, so from what I'm gathering here, just trying to understand their motivation of what they're trying to do. Is it to be heard, or is it to problem solve, or is it to, try to manipulate you? Whatever it is, you're trying to understand that first, and then for me, I active listening, contrary to its title or name, it's still non-verbal. There are lots of non-verbal cues, eye contact, just leaning forward, dropping everything, like you said, dropping everything and not being distracted. I think those are key things to be perceived as you're actively listening. So, I appreciate this conversation, guys. It was really fun. Do you have anything else, Nathan, that we should have asked you, but we didn't?
No, this was a great conversation. I'm really excited for the work you guys are doing over there, and keep recruiting and keep looking for those either they're SF guys, they're special operators, or they're conventional guys. Bring them in, and there's businesses to run, and I think it's a great organization, and I think this type of work is a lot of people are seeking. So I'm glad you're reaching to the masses like this, because it's important for people getting out of the military, whatever it is, to pursue something like this. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there for people to do this.
Absolutely.
Well, Nathan, thank you for your time. To Charlsey, the co-host here for our Operator Series, thank you again. And for the rest of you listening, now you go and build your A team. Thank you. Bye.